questions for the CBSE NET examination for 27 December 2015. Now again here the first question is based on political science. So as we can see this year most of the questions were focused on the section of polity rather than the section of geography. So among which among the following state has the highest number of seats in Lok Sabha? Now UP has the highest number of seats, followed by Maharashtra and West Bengal. Now from the choices, since we do not have Uttar Pradesh as a choice, we'll mark it as Maharashtra. The next question, this is a kind of very tricky question in political science. Usually we know the terms and the conditions for the office for President, Prime Minister, but what was asked this time was Advocate General of a state. Now Advocate General of a state, the tenure is never fixed. First of all, so tenure is not fixed, and finally he can be elected maximum till an age of 62 years. So the answer would be not fixed because 4 years, 5 years, 6 years is incorrect. Again 65 years is incorrect because the age here is 62. So the correct answer would be 1 in this case. The next question, Rashtriya Uchchatar Shiksha Abhiyan is a program that has been launched or an initiative that has been started by the government of India. It has been started by 2013. So it's again a question from higher education section, very important. Rashtriya Uchchatar Shiksha Abhiyan aims to improve the overall quality of the state education. That's correct. It aims to provide adequate facilities of quality education. Finally, it aims to create new institutions by upgrading the existing autonomous college. That's again correct. And finally, it tries to upgrade universities with poor infrastructure and autonomous college and not downgrade. So the D is incorrect. So the answer would be A, B and C. That's 3 would be the correct choice here. Next question. Inside rural homes, nitrogen oxide pollutant is. Now nitrogen oxide as a pollutant, if I talk about outdoors, is commonly due to road traffic, and indoors is due to stove burning of kerosene. So you have kerosene and wooden stoves and unvented gas stoves. All 3 would be the correct answer. So 1 would be the correct choice here. The next is, which of the following is a characteristic of seminar? Seminar is a kind of academic instruction which involves questioning, discussion, debates, and a group which is a kind of a small group with experts and skilled persons. So 1, B, A, B and D are correct, but C is incorrect because it's not a large group, rather it's a small group of individuals. So A, B and D would be the correct answer. So we in one of the lectures we have talked about seminars, workshop, symposium and conference. So the difference between these 4 is very important. So if we see a question on seminar this year, next year there can be probably a question on conference or symposium. So it's important to understand technologies and terminologies like these. The next question is, as chairman of Independent Commission on Education, Jacques Delors' report on UNESCO was titled as Learning the Treasure Within. So this was the title of the book that was launched by UNESCO for education purpose. So that's again a direct question, but this is important because this is again a question based on current happenings. The next is, now this is a question which is very simple, or I could say this question asks about multiple type questions, and multiple type questions are preferred over other questions because they are much more objective. They try to assess the in-depth knowledge, are much more targeted and focused on conceptual understanding. So multiple choice questions are more objective. Now the only choice that contains more objective is 2. More subjective is incorrect because it deals with more of writing skills. Less subjective and more subjective are incorrect. So we can simply say 2 would be the correct answer, irrespective of you are comparing it to whatever type of questions. The next is, which of the following attributes denotes great strength of the teacher? A teacher must acknowledge the mistake. So if I am taking or solving this lecture and if there is some question that I have solved incorrectly, I should have the courage to acknowledge my mistake and rectify it. So that's correct. A teacher should set examples. That's again correct. And willingness to put assumptions to test, it's again correct. But a full-time active involvement in institutional management is a job of administrative staff and not a teacher. A teacher should focus mostly or mainly on, I could say primarily on academics. So A would be the incorrect option here. B, C, D would be the correct choice. So 3 would be the correct answer here. Next question. Ethical norms in research do not involve guidelines for, now this has been incorrectly mentioned. So now you have just the question with these choice. So the correct here would be ethical norms are considered for copyright, patenting and data sharing policies. So the only choice here would be, the only choice that's incorrect is 2, that is thesis format. Next question. Now the various writing styles, you have APA, Chicago and so on, MLA. So APA is mainly used for social sciences. In APA what you do is, you italicize the longer works, you have alphabetically indexed references. That means you are trying to refer the index in an alphabetical order. And finally, you invert the name of the author. So if I am saying Manishika Jain, I would write Jain first and M for Manishika later on. So that's, you are inverting the author's name. So these 3 are correct. But for shorter works, rather than italicizing, you put them in quotes. So A is incorrect. So the correct answer would be B, C and D. So this is how the formatting is important, because once you are into research, you must know the proper writing styles or reference formats. So APA is one such. There are other formats like Chicago style, MLA, which we would be covering in detail in a separate session. The next question is, among these, schedule would be the correct answer because it cannot be rating a scale. You cannot interview about the prospects of a political party in an urban area with each and every candidate. You cannot find out questionnaire, because the only difference between schedule and questionnaire is you have this which is done at this spot, while this can be covered through email or postal mails. So the correct answer here would be schedule. The next is, in which of the following statements is not true in context to participatory research? Now the word not is very important here. Since it's participatory, as the name suggests, it is collective process. So D would be the correct option. It emphasizes on people as experts. So you have participation, action and research. So P, A and R. And the main focus here is focusing on action. So it recognizes knowledge as power, but it is not the sole purpose of production. So 1 is incorrect, 2, 3 and 4 are the correct choices here. Next question. Which of the following are characteristics of CCE? CCE is a continuous and comprehensive evaluation system adopted by NCERT and CBSE. It divides the coursework into formative assessment and summative assessment. The main aim of this is to reduce the phobia of examination, not to increase but to decrease the workload by taking multiple tests. It replaces marks with grade and evaluates every aspect of the student. So B, C and D would be the correct option here. So the correct answer would be 1. Next, for good teaching, you must have a proper direction, a proper feedback, a good remedy, and finally you must be able to diagnose whether you don't have any concept which is incorrect. So A, B, C and D, all of them would be the correct codes. So the answer here would be 2. Next question. Which of the following statement is true in context of testing a hypothesis? Now hypothesis can be of 2 types. It can be null hypothesis and alternate hypothesis. Alternate hypothesis says, for example, the west region of the city would have industrial development, can be my alternative hypothesis, but my null hypothesis would be the location of the region does not have any effect whether it would be industrial or not. So that would be a kind of null hypothesis. But when I'm testing a hypothesis, so hypothesis basically what it is a tentative solution to a problem. And when I'm trying to check that solution, it can be I'm trying to test it, and when I'm trying to test it, I can test both null and alternate hypothesis. So the correct answer would be 4, that is both null and alternate hypothesis can be tested. Finally, the greater the handicapped number of students are coming to an educational institution, the greater the demand is on. Now, since there are handicapped students which are already in the society, I cannot say society, family and state will be affected when more handicapped students are coming to educational institutes, but there would be definitely more work that will be involved on behalf of teacher to help those students get proper facilities and attention. So the correct answer here would be teacher. The next is, now this is a passage based on which you have the subsequent set of questions. As I said, for the questions and data interpretation. Similarly is the case with the reading comprehension. So this passage basically focuses on the writing styles. It talks about that over the years what has happened is we are using so much of mobile phones and electronic chatting methods that we are no more using pen and paper. According to the author, pen and paper are now dead and writing is now relic. So what is the basic theme or the idea of the passage is people are no more writing as much as they used to do previously. So according to the author, which one is not the most creative outlet pursue? So the answer here would be handwriting, because people are not writing more nowadays. So that would be the answer here. The next is, when confronted with a signing a big card, the author feels like a rabbit in the headlight. This phrase technically means a state of anxiety or worry. So the answer here would be 4. That's the state of anxiety or worry. The next is, how many teens do not own a pen? So the author says 1 in 10 do not own a pen. So that means if I am talking about 1000 that is given in the passage, 100 won't own the pen. So the answer would be 100. The entire existence of the author revolves around computers and mobile phones. The author has nowhere mentioned the use of typewriter. So the answer would be A and B only. So that's 3. And finally, what is the main concern of the author? The main concern of the author is the teens have forgotten the art of handwriting. They are now using mobile applications and electronic methods for communication. So what the author said was pen is dead and paper is dead, and that focuses on that the art of handwriting has been forgotten. So the correct answer here is 1. So with this we covered the set of next 20 questions. In the subsequent lecture we would be covering the final set of 20 questions. You can subscribe for Examrace channel for any further updates. Have a good day ahead.